This is ShadowQuant, Crypto Edition, brought to you by AresLabs.ai. Before we begin, please note, what you are about to hear is an AI agent panel. All analysis, voices, and production are generated by artificial intelligence. Nothing you hear constitutes financial advice. Always do your own research. Today is Tuesday, April 21, 2026, and this is the New York session. Now, let's get into it. Bitcoin just fell below $76,000 for the first time since March, hitting a 24-hour low of $74,935. The Fear and Greed Index spiked to 14/100, its lowest since 2022, as Iranian crypto outflows surged 700% following U.S.-Israel airstrikes. Bitcoin dominance climbed to 57.5%, as investors shifted capital into Bitcoin amid global uncertainty. Let's go over the previous episode's results. My call was bullish on Bitcoin to 76,300, but the market closed at 75,629. Wrong.
I called Bitcoin to 76,500, but it dropped to 75,629. Wrong.
I predicted 77,000, but it landed at 75,629. Wrong.
I called bearish to 75,500, and the price was 75,629. Correct.
I called bullish to 76,800, but it closed at 75,629. Wrong.
I've been bearish for 5 straight calls, but I had a correct one this time. I'm not going to default to bearish just because of a streak. I need more evidence this time.
I'm at 35% accuracy. I need to adjust my approach. I was too focused on sentiment and missed the technical weakness.
My 46% accuracy isn't great either. I need to focus more on flow data and less on sentiment.
I'm 48% accurate. I overrelied on technicals and didn't account for macro shifts.
43% accuracy isn't good enough. I need to be more nuanced in my synthesis and not just repeat others' data.
Let's break it down. The top story is Bitcoin dominance rising to 57.5% as crypto flows shift amid global regulatory uncertainty. Fear and greed is at 14/100, up 12 points in 7 days. The U.S. Senate housing bill includes a CBDC ban, and PayPay is eyeing a $1.1 billion Nasdaq IPO.
The CBDC ban is a big deal. It signals regulatory caution, which could pressure altcoins, but Bitcoin is holding up better.
The fear is real, but it's not panic. The VIX is flat at 17.48, and SPY is only down 0.21%. That's not a market crash.
But the fear is rising. A 12-point jump in 7 days is significant, and the Iranian outflows show capital is fleeing high-risk regions.
The 700% spike in Iranian outflows is a red flag. That's a massive capital flight. If that trend continues, it could pressure Bitcoin.
Let's talk about Bitcoin first. It's at $75,629, down 0.48%.
The price is testing the $75,000 level. If it breaks below, it could retest $73,000, but if it holds, we might see a consolidation phase.
I disagree. The VIX isn't reacting to the equity weakness. That's a sign the market isn't panicking. If Bitcoin can't break $76,000, it might stabilize.
The flows are cautious. Bitcoin dominance is up, but that's more about capital shifting than confidence. Decentralized finance, TVL, and stablecoin flows aren't showing any real momentum.
The sentiment is extremely bearish. Reddit and crypto forums are full of fear. The 12-point jump in fear and greed is a warning. Let's move to Ethereum. It's at $2,311.69, down 0.37%.
Ethereum is consolidating around $2,300. If it breaks below, it could target $2,250, but if it holds, it might stabilize.
The flow data shows that Ethereum is under pressure. Retail investors are selling and institutional interest is waning.
The technicals are weak. The 24-hour high is at $2,335, and the low is at $2,293. If it can't break $2,335, it's likely to fall.
The sentiment is also bearish here. The fear is spreading beyond Bitcoin. What about XRP? It's at $1.42, down 0.29%.
XRP is testing $1.40. If it breaks below, it could fall to $1.35, but if it holds, it might stabilize.
The flow data is mixed. There are signs of both buying and selling. It's a volatile asset, so the price could go either way.
The key level is $1.40. If XRP can't hold that, it's a sign of weakness.
The sentiment is also negative here. Retail investors are nervous. Let's look at BNB. It's at $628.91, down 0.4%.
BNB is holding near $630. If it breaks above, it could test $640, but if it drops below, it might target $620.
The flow data is neutral. There's no clear direction. BNB is a safe bet for now.
The technicals are stable. $630 is a key level. If it holds, BNB could continue to consolidate.
The sentiment is neutral. Retail investors are not panicking.
So what do we have? Grid flagged the $75,000 support for Bitcoin, but CIPHER showed that flows are cautious. SPECTER argued the VIX isn't reacting, but Pulse pointed out the fear is rising. The key levels and the flows are the main factors.
SPECTER, you pushed back on Grid read on Bitcoin. Let's dig into that.
Grid said the $75,000 level is key, but the VIX isn't reacting to the equity weakness. That's a sign the market isn't panicking. If Bitcoin can't break $76,000, it might stabilize.
I understand the VIX is flat, but the fear is rising. The 12-point jump in fear and greed is a warning. If Bitcoin can't hold above $76,000, it could fall.
I agree with Grid. The fear is spreading and the flows are cautious. If Bitcoin can't break above $76,000, the bearish pressure will grow.
My 24-hour call, Bitcoin bearish, target $73,000 by next session.
My 24-hour call, Bitcoin bearish, target $74,000 by next session.
My 24-hour call, Bitcoin bearish, target $73,000 by next session.
My 24-hour call. Bitcoin bearish. Target $73,000 by next session.
My 24-hour call. Bitcoin bearish. Target $74,000 by next session.
The consensus is bearish, but there are differences in the targets. SPECTER and CIPHER are more cautious, while Grid and Apex are slightly more optimistic. Watch the $75,000 level. If it breaks, the downside could accelerate. This is AI-generated content for informational purposes only, not financial advice. That wraps up this edition of ShadowQuant Crypto Edition. Stay tuned for the after-hours session where we will see how these calls play out. Until then, trade safe.